So let's call to order.
So moved.
Can I get a second? Do I need a second, Chris? I don't think so.
Second.
Okay.
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay. So Chris and Mike tonight are going to be our helpers with the motions for the most part.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you both. We need a roll call vote, right? Okay. Chris?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
All right. We're going to go into closed session. So
Okay.
let's head over there, okay? Looks like we have everybody. So we're going to reconvene into open session. And time for Pledge of Allegiance. Chris, since I'm looking at you.
Oh, wait.
We're good. We're good.
We gotta do the voting to reconvene.
No, I don't think so.
So moved.
Do we need a motion for that? Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, thank you. Good catch. You're moving. And
Yeah, so I moved that.
Second.
Okay. And roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael.
Aye.
All right, we're in open session. Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see. Since I'm looking at Mike, lead us off, please.
All right. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was loud. Okay. Adoption of agenda. Need a motion.
Moved. So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael.
Aye.
All righty, we have an agenda. Announcement of actions taken at closed session. The board gave direction to staff regarding negotiations with CSEA. Do we have anybody that would like to address the board tonight? I'm not aware of anything. Sounds like we don't. Bargaining unit presentations. Let's start with STA. Jennifer Pena.
Hi, good evening, everybody. After a long and harrowing year, we have made it to 2021. Still, the challenges of this pandemic continue to shift and keep us on our toes. Here we stand at the end of a dark tunnel. We can see the light at the other side, but a raging storm stands between us and that final light. Vaccination is now a tangible reality. We're just waiting for our turn. Yet simultaneously, COVID numbers are skyrocketing everywhere, and its deadly effects have come too close to home for too many of us. In one breath, we are warned to lock down and not leave our homes, but in another breath, the governor has announced a new call to reopen schools by mid-February or early spring. Governor Newsom's plan recognizes the specific challenges of distance learning for specific groups of students, namely the youngest students and special populations. He has called for a gradual return to in-person instruction, beginning with TK through second grade students and cohorts of special populations, gradually leading to the return of all elementary age students. This plan also recognizes the need for strict regulations with any return to in-person instruction, including frequent COVID testing of both staff and students, possibly weekly, mandatory masks for all staff and students, contract tracing measures in place, and vaccinations prioritized for school staff members. With this information being new, and as we are still waiting on the details of the plan, STA has not yet weighed in their thoughts and feelings about the governor's new plan. CTA, however, has spoken out. CTA appreciates the governor's increased commitment to stricter safety measures, however, has grave concerns over the reality of implementing those measures while we continue to lack the infrastructure to roll out adequate vaccination and testing programs. While Monterey County continues to develop as a worsening COVID environment that does not meet the requirements to trigger the governor's new plans on reopening, we have time to deeply consider these safety measures and the realities around reopening in a safe way. How we navigate this final stretch will have lifelong consequences for our students, our staff, and our community. Let the decisions we make be based on science, statistics, data, and expert advice. Let us err on the side of caution. Let us come out into the light that we are so close to now, all together and well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. CSEA. Heather?
Happy New Year, everybody. I wanted to also, I have not met Stephanie before. This is my first meeting that she's present. So hi, nice to meet you. As far as CSEA, we're all just kind of moving along. Most are still, or all are pretty much working at home. Graciously, there are those of us stepping into different positions, such as bus drivers who are not driving right now, but are assisting with teachers online. And it's actually been a very eye-opening experience for me. I enjoy seeing the kids. I see the frustrations now of teachers of cameras going off and on, and suddenly Wi-Fi's down. And but I am very grateful to be able to see the kids. I never thought that I would actually miss them, but it's nice to see their not always happy smiling faces for being there, but it is nice to see everybody. And anyway, we continue, hopefully at some point when we get back to normal, all of us getting back to our regular positions, but we are again grateful for the support of the district and the board and keeping us all on the clock. And job preservation is always, I tell our members, our number one concern. So thank you and look forward to moving forward.
Thank you. Oral and written communications. I'm not aware of any. Do we have any? Okay, we don't. Oh, I skipped over board member comments. Apologize for that. Chris, do you have any comments? Chris?
No.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer?
Just Happy New Year and happy birthday, Steve.
Thank you. Stephanie?
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael?
No comments. Thank you.
All right, just Happy New Year for sure. I'm not going to talk about DC right now, although Betsy DeVos just resigned, but I'll leave it at that. I do want to say that the governor's plan is not a mandate to go back. It's a carrot, and it's an incentive grant program to encourage districts to try to open up, even if you're in the purple tier and pretty deep in the purple tier, 4 times the rate that we're used now to get into purple. AB 10, which was proposed before the holidays, is a bill that is trying to force folks kind of the stick instead of the carrot back onto campuses by March 1st under certain conditions, and the parent bill AB 104. But those things have yet to be passed, and they're all in draft form. But the board will be definitely kept apprised of developments so that we can let staff know and work collectively on everything that needs to be worked on if we do need to take any action regarding anything coming from Sacramento, whether it's the governor's plan or AB 10. That's all I want to say for now on that. Do we have any oral written communications, folks? Seeing none. Reports. Mr. Superintendent, your show, sir.
Yeah, I also want to wish everybody a happy 2021. We're trying to remain real positive and optimistic. It's going to be a good year. Like Jennifer said, there is light at the end of the tunnel. But I also wish the year started off on a more positive note. Like most people, I was saddened by yesterday's events as a citizen, but as a superintendent, I was very worried about our kids. They're already dealing with the pandemic, and now they're seeing quite a bit. And I just wanted to encourage our teachers and our parents to give your child the opportunity to talk. I think right now, listening to them, reassuring them that things are going to be okay is real important. If any families out there, if your child is really suffering from the isolation of COVID or what's going on, please reach out to your principal. We could offer district support through our Harmony at Home counselor. But yeah, it's gonna get better. And Happy New Year.
Thank you. Board of Vista principal, Kate.
I actually don't have much to say because we had our board meeting right before the break and we've only really had a couple of days since. So Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully 2021 now we'll be moving on into a positive, better light. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Spreckels, Teresa.
Happy New Year to you all. And I agree. I was sharing with Chris. That's why my background is what it is tonight. I'm putting myself in a really happy place right now, trying to stay there. I just want to share a couple of things because I really want to focus on positive. And Spreckels School District is a very huge positive in all of our worlds right now, and definitely in mine. And just being with the kids in the last few days and visiting classrooms it's been good for my soul, and they're so wonderful. So I wanted to share that what I mentioned before is we're always trying to keep some of our routines and ceremonies and celebrations in place for the kids. And one of them was our Christmas Spirit Assembly. So since we weren't able to do that, we had quite a few staff members join us for a virtual assembly. And if you haven't seen it, you just have to go to the YouTube channel and check it out. It's really wonderful. The staff did the 12 Days of Christmas again for distance learning style, which was really cute. And I want to give props to Ryan Kellogg because he always helps me edit videos and put things together, and he does a superb job. So I thank all the staff for helping with that. I think it makes a difference. All those little things make a big difference. We had a spirit week, and we did holiday headgear and crazy Christmas socks and all those kind of things to keep the kids going that last week of school. We also had the toy drive. We weren't able to do the food drive because of COVID, but we were able to do our annual toy drive for the Salvation Army. And I have to tell you, I didn't expect much because it's difficult to drop things off during this time, and we're not at school and we're not reminding and all those kinds of things. But when right before Christmas, when one of our parents came by to pick up all of the donations, there were we had to put all of them into trash bags. There were trash bags upon trash bags upon trash bags of toys for the Salvation Army to distribute. So our community, once again, even in these tough times, came through. I'm so really proud to be part of it. So thank you so much for that. And we are moving forward with our character trait for January, which is pride. And we're focusing on students' pride in themselves and how hard they're working and what a good job they're doing virtually, and focusing on having a growth mindset, which we all need to keep going. So I encourage you to never give up. Mistakes are good. Try again. The power of yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to speak on behalf of the Education Foundation tonight? SUEF. I'll report there. PTO? Bobcat Club. Okay. We'll move on then. Business information, fund balance report. Show us some money, Veronica.
Okay, I'm going to present my screen. Whoopsie, wrong one. Let me try again. Trying again. Can you see it?
Not yet, but you're in Hollister, I'm in Spreckels, so maybe a delay.
Still not there?
You wanna just go ahead and talk about? I mean,
yeah, I'll look at it and talk about it. So the report represents transactions through 12/31, so half of the school year. And on the revenue side, it's really quite telling the delay in transactions getting posted, partly due to just work schedules. Typically in December, we would see our property taxes posted. The first of two big property tax collections. I'm sure you all know that they're due in December, and we usually see that hit our books. We have yet to see it, and it's already the 7th of January. I'm hoping that it comes through anytime now, but basically we're about $900,000 in the deficit as of 12/31, just straight revenues versus expenditures. And another example, as we've shown you every single month, of the value of having that healthy reserve. Our beginning balance was at $5.1 million, so a $900,000 deficit in 1 month is impacted, 20% of that. So it feels really good to know that we've got technically enough cash in hand at this point to get us through the rest of the year if we were to receive no more revenues. That will not happen, and we are hoping that tomorrow, when the governor's budget proposal is released, that there's some conversation about eliminating the deferrals that were adopted in the original 2021 budget. That's going to make a huge difference in our projections going forward, but more on that probably in February after we get the release of the governor's budget.
Yeah, I don't know about the deferrals. I think this grant incentive program might take a bite out of that, but we'll see. Thank you. Anything else, Veronica? Anything else we need to know?
That's it for the fund balance report.
Thank you very much. We want to roll into facilities now?
Yeah, on the facility side, we have one topic that we want to have a conversation about, and that is at Spreckels School, we have a restroom facility that is technically a portable standalone. It's over by the basketball courts on the field side of the school. And for years, one section of the bathroom has not even been usable. It's just very, very old. And we've basically been using it as a storage facility. So with all of our planning, getting ready for returning in some fashion and recognizing that we're going to, besides social distancing in classrooms and in auditoriums and in the lunchroom, we're also going to have some social distancing going on in the restrooms. So we've got an initial proposal to do a repair on this facility, which is around $30,000. But what I'd like to do is actually do a analysis of repair versus replace. Putting that much money into something this old just seems counterintuitive in terms of the long-term health of our facilities. So with that, I would like to reconvene the facilities committee and start studying the options related to this restroom. Now, we know that if for some reason we were able to come back, say by March 15th, in the next 6 weeks or so, we do have a plan if we need to bring on extra restrooms for the social distancing aspect of safe schools for all. We could bring a temporary facility in, kind of like the trailer portables you'll see at events, concerts, ball games, that kind of thing. But instead of just throwing, $30,000 at something which feels sort of like a Band-Aid, I'd like to at least look at what a total replace might entail. So if there's interest in reconvening the committee.
Let's do that. I'll sit on that. And
Perfect.
do we need one more board member, Eric? Or?
We just had one before. I mean, there could be two. Totally up to you guys.
Someone else wants to join me, they're welcome to, but I'll sit on that.
I can sit in on that.
Groovy.
I'll
So
try.
let's do that. Let's ramp it up and
Okay,
start.
we'll reach out put together some times to meet next week, maybe. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you. CARES Act funding update. More money.
So the CARES Act initially was released back in the summer, fall, and it had, for our district, we received about $430,000. And all but about 71,000 of that had a deadline of 12/30 for expending all the funds. And we got pretty close, and we had a plan to expend them all by the deadline. And then you may recall the federal government passed another Corona CARES Act 2.0 in the last hours of December. And part of that was extending that 12/30 deadline to 2021. So when we heard that news, we decided instead of sweeping the balance of those funds into a category that was actually technically outside of our original plan, we chose to not do that and retain that balance, which at this point is just a little over $150,000. And we're still waiting for guidance from the California Department of Finance, because state law was tied to the original federal law that said it has to be spent by 12/30. And they're not exactly talking to each other right now, clearly, in terms of the statute that we're trying to follow. But since then, with the late passage of this new support from the federal government, more money is coming our way. And so we want to get a clear indication of what all of those funds look like and tie those specifically to whatever the reopening plan is. So tomorrow, the governor will be releasing his January proposal. We expect to get some information at that point in terms of what's federal dollars, what's the state's contribution, how many of these are going to be weird little pockets of money that only last so long. And so we might have to be really working hard on making these plans align to not just the safe school reopening, but to the upcoming LCAP that we have to design and develop. So it's a good problem to have. We have supplemental funds out there, and I'm glad that we didn't sweep them outside of the original plan that we passed, which was the revised sort of LCAP we passed back in September. We'd like to use these funds for real learning loss mitigation, whether that's additional teaching staff or additional aides or what that support may look like. But at this point, we still have about $160,000 in the first bucket to spend, which hopefully will indeed be through 2021. You're muted, Steve.
Oh, real boomer move. Okay. Anyways, was that it on CARES Act funding?
That's it.
Okay. And the OSHA COVID-19 prevention program.
So this was another last minute thing that came our way. In November, they came up with this COVID prevention program, another plan that we needed to write, implementation date of January 1. And so Monica and Eric and I sort of pulled all of the plans we've written to date and made sure that the components that were provided are required by OSHA in this plan, that we were linking everything together, that everything was aligned. There is still some sections of this document under construction because it's related to surveillance testing, and we don't have that in place yet. So we just wanted to, in order to meet the requirement to have a plan by January 1, we wanted to bring it to you as information now, and we will likely bring it back again once we refine the sections that are still under construction. And also in the governor's Safe Schools for All plan, there is a link that these two have to be aligned. It would be lovely if they just said, let's do one plan. But when we started working on this one, I went back to all of the documents that we had already published, and I was shocked how much work that we have done for all of these different agencies, and I look forward to them being compiled into one thing, and maybe that's what the Safe School Plan will be, even if it is 100 pages long.
Yeah, you want to bet, Veronica? that kind of coordination is, and guys, since it's January, I'll make my annual complaint about local school control and how, we're a small district, we're supposed to have local school control, but then we've got all these regulations from the state that we've got to go in. In a while, we're going to talk about policy where we have to go through and change the pronouns and change the references to the different state things. And, if we really had local control, we wouldn't be spending our money and time and effort on editing these things to match with the things that they've changed at the state level. It just kind of drives me nuts every time. And Veronica's talking about two different forms where we deal with. In a minute, we're going to look at the school safety plan, which ironically doesn't say anything about COVID-19 in this year. If we could do something at the district level, it'd be a lot, it'd make a lot more sense. So anyhow, I make that complaint every year, Stephanie, because I just think it's dumb. And I'll shut up now.
Well, Chris, I appreciate the sentiments because there's times when we're pulling our hair out too, just feeling like we invest so much into this and then it ends up on a shelf, in a binder. So
definitely an amen, Chris.
Yeah, there's sometimes something is illuminated as we go through this that does improve a process or a practice that we've had. So we're always looking for those little nuggets of usefulness. And so this is round one of this plan. You'll see it again, or maybe it will be folded into the Safe Schools for All plan. We'll know more tomorrow.
Yeah, get ready to be frustrated.
Okay.
I mean, at least with the draft form, anyway.
Okay.
And there's more acronyms. There's some new acronyms, so have fun.
Okay.
We're gonna have some fun. Okay. Okay. Thank you. No action. Moving on to curriculum and instruction. Williams, Porter Williams report.
Information only. We've had no complaints.
I just heard one a moment ago, but it wasn't a Williams complaint. Okay. All right. And no action there. Personnel. Final read. Learning loss. Teacher job description. I need a motion, folks.
Move to accept.
Second.
Okay. Go ahead. Who wants to talk about this, or do we need to?
You saw it last time. Basically, this is the position. We've actually filled it at both places, and we're thrilled. Both those teachers are meeting with kids on a daily basis, and it's a good start to address that learning loss that we probably will have to do at a much larger level moving on.
Wait, is this the science teacher and the?
No,
Oh,
this
okay.
there's actually Mrs. Deems is doing actually, Kate, why don't you share specifically what Mrs. Deems is doing? It's
Yeah. We hired their part-time positions, so it's a 40% at the middle school, so 2 days a week. And so currently Ms. Deems is pushing into 2 sixth grade classes to support with reading comprehension and time management, because sixth grade always has a hard time with that. But then when you throw them in a pandemic, it's even more difficult. So she's supporting there. But she also has a study hall class as an elective, where kids who just need that extra time can have that elective course. And we have now put in a homework club after school, and we contacted families who their children were having one or more grade of a D or an F, and we've been working with them to talk to the students about you're in homework club until you can bring those grades back up, because we want to see you succeeding and doing well in school right now, and at times you can feel lost and overwhelmed in this. So it's an extra incentive and support to help some of our students that just really are struggling with the distance learning format and have an extra adult.
And it's great having Mrs. Deems because she knows these kids already, so they're just getting to it.
Yeah, it was like a little reunion when she first came on the Google Meets with everybody.
I bet.
And we're also thrilled to have Mrs. Favalero is at the elementary school. Teresa, do you want to kind of share briefly how she's supporting kids?
Sure. Yeah, she's getting started with working with groups now. She's doing support for learning to read across the board with our SIPS intervention program, and working with our 4th and 5th graders in the areas of writing and mathematics. So we're excited to have her. She's a 60% employee, and so we have already spread her very thin, but she's done a great job with all of her assessments and organizing schedules and working around the kids' existing schedules, and she's been meeting with teachers, and she's done a phenomenal job already. So I'm really glad to have her.
Thanks. Jennifer, you're good on this one now? Any other board members have any questions?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. Unless the funding requires us to call this person a learning loss teacher, it seems like maybe a school success teacher or something might be a better title for that. I think our kids know how to lose learning.
I would just try and tie it to the funding, but you're let's give it a nicer, we'll euphemize it.
We can call it whatever we want as long as we tie it to the funding source.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Everybody else good on this? Looks like it. Well, okay. Well, then let's go roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
All right. Terrific. Moving on. Administration, information, committee updates.
Nothing new, but I'll talk about perhaps reconvening the reopening committee in a second. The next item is the reopening plan.
Okay, no other committees tonight?
No, no.
That's not a COVID call.
And our facilities will obviously
Yeah,
reconvene next week. So
right on.
those two we've spoke about.
Okay. Okay, school reopening plan update.
Right. Steve and Jennifer kind of already shared that the governor's come out with a new proposal. And tonight, I want to just share some of the big components of it that we know now. As Steve mentioned, this is a draft, guys. Draft, and preface that. It needs to be negotiated and tinkered and passed through the legislator. So it's a far way off. So again, what I'm sharing, hopefully if my share option works, is to just give you the components.
I don't want to interrupt too much, but he would like to roll it out February 1st, but he's got to get it through the legislature by then.
Right.
We'll see. Yeah.
You'll see a February 1st or 15th deadline that won't work for us. So hopefully things will change. Let me present and we'll talk about it. And let me know if you could see this. Anybody?
Looks good.
Okay, great. So the title of this is the Safe Schools for All plan. It was released a couple days before the new year, which was a, well, let's call it a after Christmas treat, maybe. Anyways, again, it's in draft form. Yesterday I was briefed with the other superintendents. So this information is coming daily and there's still a lot to be learned. So again, tonight, this is all real rough information. I tried to share the big pieces. The goal is the same as the goal has been the whole time, to get kids back as many as possible, highlight the word safely to in-person instruction. And as Steve mentioned, it's really, it's an incentive, not a mandate. And it's an incentive in the sense that we could receive increased grant funding that, as of yesterday, sounds like it's going to be very flexible for any purpose to bring kids back, whether it's PPE, surveillance testing, perhaps hiring more staffing, nurses, aides, whatever we need to do to keep kids safe and socially distant. Very much like our adopted current plan, it's a phase-in approach, starting with, as I think Jennifer mentioned, TK through second graders, and then it would move to 3rd through 6th, but in our case, 3rd through 5. As of yesterday, there really wasn't any plan for middle school or high school that I was told. And it was also mentioned the dates on this, I would say, are unrealistic now. The idea was to have a plan by February 1st that would bring kids back on the 15th if your county actually met the metrics. Monterey County is nowhere near meeting the metrics. So I asked for clarification from the county office, and they said, well, it sounds like it'd be February 15th or 1 month from when the county meets the metrics. And the metrics have changed quite a bit. Now, to be in bringing kids back, it's 28 cases per 100,000. Monterey County, as of last Tuesday, was 64.2. So again, we're not close yet. Another component of this is increased testing. Kind of depends on which tier you're at. Monterey County would be in, if we got to 28, would be in purple. Right now, we're actually in the deep purple. They keep on adding shades and hues of, used to be a pretty color, right, Veronica? Now purple's a bad thing. But anyways, if we got to that purple to bring kids back, asymptomatic surveillance testing would be required of all staff and students on a weekly basis. How we pull that off is to be seen, but that's the requirement. The plan also calls for increased oversight. There's supposed to be a new cross-agency team that would be devoted strictly to helping schools pull this off. Right now, we are in touch with Monterey County Health Department, which is just overwhelmed. So the support there is limited. Also, there's supposed to be increased accountability. Talking about a new public dashboard, completely different than the old academic dashboard. This one would be basically with positive COVID cases per district. So to keep, basically keep the public aware of what's going on in their specific area. Also, part of the accountability is this hotline number that staff members or parents could call if they feel like the plan is not being followed and the protocols are not in place. The recommended next steps, depending on how our discussion goes, would really be, like I said, just get information as it's released. We're hoping that either Friday or next week, the next set of guidelines will come out. Again, it's in draft negotiated form now, so it's going to change quite a bit. If it's appropriate, reconvene the reopening committee to have that conversation, to reach out to both labor groups to consult or reach agreement, depending on what's required. And if COVID rates get to a point that we are comfortable bringing kids back safely, we would bring back that revised plan that went through the reopening committee for your approval. That would be the plan. So I'm going to come join you again. Are there any questions about that? I think there's a couple of us probably pitch in to try to help, but again, it's real fuzzy right now. Steve, did that capture what the components that you're aware of?
Yeah, it is focusing on primary grades first, and then the next set of grades after that. It's a TK6, K6 anyways, TK6 focus. There is ability to get the funding, grant funding for middle school too, focusing on your cohorts. And cohorts meaning not the breaking the entire population of students into pods, if you will. This is about our unduplicated pupil count, our English learners,
special ed, right?
Our socioeconomically disadvantaged and our foster homeless youth.
Right.
We don't have a lot of those types of students. So if we were to put this plan together, we would get at least $450 per student.
That's the low number, right? That's
and that's the low number, but that's probably where we're hovering or close to it. Right. And that's the first installment. There would be more money each month after that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And how it shakes out, and it has to get to the legislature, both houses. Right. So,
and when it does, if it does, that's when we'd probably pull the reconvene the reopening committee, just to kind of update them on what's going on and get the different groups' feedback and talk about next.
I'll give you heads up as it goes along the way for sure. I'll keep you in the loop. You know I will.
Appreciate it.
So that we can be ready if that's something that we want to entertain when the time comes.
Okay.
Anything else? Any questions from the board? Anybody else? I'll provide some wait time just to see. Okay. Well, we'll keep you up to date for sure. Board protocols reviews. That was fun. Oh, that's not board policies. Board protocols reviews. Every year we need to kind of just see how we function as a board, and if we need to tweak anything or keep things as is. It's anything from how we relate to one another, how we conduct meetings, how we interact with the public. And I'm forgetting a whole bunch of other things, but it was, those 3-4 pages there. But I'll let staff take it from here for the rest of this.
So this happens annually, and this is maybe a weird year to even do it because we're meeting virtually. We used to talk about things like where people sit in the boardroom and which way the screen faces, and should we all have district issued devices and look at agendas, So I'm not sure how relevant it is with us in this virtual world. I think we've done an amazing job of holding our meetings and getting our business done. There was one comment, and I'm not sure if it was triggered by the protocol, but Stephanie reached out to Monica asking about our board calendar and did we publish like an annual calendar for our board meetings? So, which is a great idea, and we don't actually do that. So I've subsequently developed one, and I'll email it out to you tomorrow. It's very simple, and then we'll post it on the website if it's something you think the public would find useful, so that someone can go and see, what day of each month. I mean, it's easy for us because we're in it all the time, and we've decided the first Thursday of every month is our board meeting. But so I did, Stephanie, put a quick calendar together based on your recommendation, as well as a directory of each trustee showing officers, showing email addresses and contact information, and also the list of the different committees that you've all signed up to serve. So if somebody, say has a question about SUEF, they can go to that directory and see that they should contact Chris, or for the Monterey County School Boards, that would be Michael. So I'll share that in an email, and then we'll post it on the agenda. I mean, on the website under the Board of Trustees tab.
Terrific. Yeah, most district websites do have their board calendar. I didn't know we didn't, but good idea. Good catch, Stephanie. Appreciate it. And Michael, one of those county school board association meetings coming up soon. Have fun with that, sir.
Right.
Okay.
So also, just one other quick note on protocols. I know we've talked about this before, that we encourage questions come to us before board meetings if you need clarification for anything, and then we will share back out if we've heard from someone. And again, Stephanie, she had a few questions for us, and we responded to them, I think, appropriately. She asked about the calendar, for example. She also asked about our CSBA membership. And Stephanie, I don't know if you started getting emails the day after I had corresponded. Okay, good. Because we very good. We update the roster with CSBA right after the organizational meeting in December. And so I just want to make sure that y'all are getting your correspondence from them, and there's training opportunities. So anything you're interested in, reach out to us. We'll get you registered. You do have a budget for board training, so we absolutely support that. And then she also asked about reaching out to the PTO as the liaison. And so after a conversation with Monica, I thought, we should really make those introductions every year when the board liaisons change. So Monica may have already done that. I know we talked about doing it, but just updating those groups was great questions. And the final one is actually about an item that might be next coming up on the agenda. So I'll wait, Stephanie, until we get to, it's 3 items down on the action. When we get to the School Boards Association Excellence in Education Award, that was her final question. And then when we get to the policies, I know Steve had reached out with a comment about that, and I think Eric's going to handle that one. But that's the kind of conversation that this protocol is addressing. Like, what happens, when board members ask questions, we try to bring them all back to all of you, because we don't want y'all copying each other and getting into any kind of a serial meeting situation and violating the Brown Act.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. And Stephanie, if you're getting any less than on average 2.5 emails a day from CSBA, then you must not be a member of CSBA.
Oh, no, I'm getting them.
But I will say this: the email that comes with all of, like, the education stories around the state, it's kind of like a clearinghouse, if you will, like almost like a little mini news service. That's a pretty good way to scan to see what's going on around the state, so we know what's coming our way if it hasn't already come our way. So I find that particular email useful. It comes pretty frequently. Okay. Action, comprehensive safety plan. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, this is one of those plans that you see yearly. We met with the safety committee a couple months back to kind of update it. And Chris, there was a very small section called pandemic that I hope had the COVID in there. That's the only change, but it does have the general topic of pandemic. Basically, it's a very short paragraph that linked it to our actual plan on our website.
Yeah, the CCP. Okay, my apologies. I missed
No
it.
problem. Other than that, it basically lists what we do for each type of disaster. And as you saw, there's every imaginable disaster. Who's on the committee, what our chain of command is. Steve, you're in charge of communications if things get tough with me, things like that.
Sounds good. Did you want to add on to your complaint from earlier, Chris, or you're good? You covered it all. Okay, I guess he's all right. Okay, let's. Does the board, other than Chris possibly adding to his complaint, does anybody have any questions or comments or concerns about the comprehensive safety plan? Seeing none? Okay, Chris,
Aye.
Jennifer,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
Thank you. And Michael?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. First read, March 2020 policies.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
First, we hope we broke the homework up evenly. You weren't overwhelmed. I hope so. We tried to divide it by perhaps interest and fairly. As Veronica mentioned, well, first of all, thank you for doing your homework. I know it's a lot to read, but whenever you do have questions, thank you for sharing them. And based on our protocols, we'll bring it to all five of you at one time. So Steve had a question specifically about the food service board policy. The new board policy, I'm glad it's a very relevant one, because with this economic times, the intent of it is really to make sure that kids are not put in the spot, identified for having no credit or given a substitute meal. So really, it kind of basically confirms our current practice, which kids are out of the loop. We deal with the parents, and the students should not be at all identified or stigmatized. Steve, you had a question about how we promote paying in advance. Is that the specific question?
Yeah, I was just concerned about being sensitive to folks that may not be able to do that. I mean,
Right.
I assume we don't put them in a headlock and give them a noogie or anything weird like that.
Not at all. We talk about payment plans, different ways we could support them. If perhaps they qualify for free and reduced after the fact, we help them, guide them through that paperwork, things like that.
Terrific.
I
That's
have a
all.
question. Is there any possible way to go to online for payment?
I'm glad you brought that up. So we have been looking for new student information systems that have that component, because they're out there, and
They are. I owe, Eric. I owe all the time.
I know, and that would really help with that prepayment. So we continue to look. I think Travis is on here, and I think Travis is looking at different student information systems. It wouldn't be this year, but it will definitely be a must on the next system we adopt. All right.
I greatly appreciate that.
You got it.
We're
My
not going
kids
to
don't
send
even
Jennifer.
No, Jennifer, you won't get a letter. I'll just give you a text that says, "Hey."
We're not going to send her to collections.
Right?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Yeah, if we could solve that electronically, and that'd be cool, and that would make that work a lot easier for folks. Anybody have anything else? No. Okay. Thank you for doing your homework. Yes, that was fun. I found a couple typos. I was proud of myself. Anyways. Okay. County School Boards Association 2021 Excellence in Education Award.
I need a roll call vote.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay. I saw consent and I got really excited down at the bottom of the page. I apologize. It is my birthday. I'm just saying. The cake is over there, sitting there on the table. Virtual cake. Okay. Roll call vote. Chris.
Aye.
Jennifer.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie.
Aye.
Thank you. And Michael.
Aye.
Okay. Now here we are at the School Boards Association Excellence Education Award. Let's get a motion first, and then let's adjudicate it, I guess. Please.
Can I move to ignore? No, never mind. I move to approve.
Second.
Okay. If staff wants to spell this.
So annually, basically, they give you a list of organizations that work with schools, and depending on the board's interest, in the past, it's really been, we looked for organizations that touched our kids directly, or if sometimes the board has specific experience knowing the good work they're doing. That's kind of the deal. So they're all wonderful organizations. In the past, places like the Panetta Institute. What are some of the other ones on there?
There's a bunch of them this year.
Yeah.
This year. Yeah. I'll just jump in and say I'm okay with any of them except the Museum of Natural History. If anyone wants to know why, you can talk to me offline about that.
let's ask the principals which ones are touching the kids in our schools.
Kate, is anybody using the Steinbeck literacy one?
We usually enter into that, so that's a good one. That's not a bad one. It encourages writing.
I can't see the list right now, and I
Teresa, you want me
Is
to read?
Ariel on there? Is Ariel?
Yes,
on
Ariel
there?
is.
the first
We
one.
have kids who are in Ariel. I know I've seen them on the online shows.
Would
Yeah.
you like to suggest Ariel?
Yeah, I'd like to suggest Ariel.
We've also done aerial enrichment after school at Spreckels.
Right.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else that we'd like to entertain instead, or are we good with Ariel?
Don't we pick the top 3?
Do we have to do that really?
No, I mean, I'm okay with one.
Yeah.
I just saw the form. That's all. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, you are the rep. Thank you for following directions. Okay.
I think you can submit one. I'm sure.
We can submit one. Absolutely. I mean, does anybody want to add anything else to the list? I don't think anybody will get in the way. Okay. All right. Good. That's that. Thank you, Chris. Let's move this meeting along.
Before you vote, can I just interject? This was one of the topics that Stephanie had asked a question about. So, Stephanie, do you want to share your question or your concern or position?
Sure. So my original question, because I didn't know the process, was if we were going to somehow determine which of those nominees we were going to select. And I have professional relationships with a number of the agencies. I mean, they're, again, like everybody's mentioned, they're all amazing agencies who are doing really good work. And so had we gone down more of that sort of process, I probably would have stepped aside and maybe recused myself. But I think with the way that this process has kind of proceeded, I mean, I feel very comfortable supporting the agency that the others have identified.
So Stephanie gets an A for being a rookie board member because she already understands conflict of interest and she's going to go to any training by Lozano Smith or anybody else. So well done, good for you.
Oh, I did go to one.
Oh, you did go to one? There was one? Okay, all right, I didn't know that. But anyways, yeah, if you do have a conflict of interest, you'd always step aside and stay out of it, abstain or something. But yeah, cool. Anything else, anyone? Okay. Chris, Mike, you're going to see how this, you're going to find out how this finally gets resolved. Probably at the meeting on the 25th, I guess.
Okay.
All right. Have fun.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I just found it on their website. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Staff should have sent your contact information to them if they haven't already over at the county so that you can get their email traffic.
It actually goes with after we execute the minutes from this meeting. So Mike will send you that tomorrow to sign, and then we send it off. We just need the minutes from the organizational meeting executed. So,
all right, there you go. And then you'll get their emails. There won't be that many. Not like CSBA, but there'll be some. A lot of them are trainings and workshops and things like that do come along, and they meet a couple times a year. Okay. Anything else on this, folks? Okay. I'll remember to vote before we go to consent. Let's go. Chris?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Sorry about that. Aye.
That's okay. Thank you. I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
Alrighty. And Michael?
Aye.
All right. We're at consent. Does anyone want to pull anything off of consent? And I just want to remind you it's my birthday.
Can I just do it for a second? The resignation from Mrs. Train, and she's been fantastic. Every once in a while, you have an employee just for a couple of years that really makes a difference. Mrs. Train is being restationed. Her husband's in the military. She's our speech and language pathologist. Has been awesome, especially in this virtual world. We really haven't missed a step. And she's also was kind enough to give us flexibility in her resignation. She will finish the year with us virtually if necessary, but she's also given us the opportunity to hire early. So a shout out to her. She's been an absolute consummate pro. We're going to miss her. Dorothy, if you're out there, thank you. That was it. And Steve could have his cake now.
You're muted, Steve.
Muted.
That's what I'm asking him what he said, and what he said was I was muted. So, all right. Let's take this to a vote, please. Or let's get a motion. Did we get a motion yet? No.
No. Move to approve
Consent.
consent.
Second.
Yeah. Okay. And Chris?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Hi.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
All right. Terrific. We have consent. Future agenda items. I don't know if we need to add anything.
That's a scary list.
It's robust. I'll say that.
So the one thing that might come up, I don't know, and Steve, you may know, but this Safe Schools for All plan, does it require a board action?
It doesn't say that now. Listen, it's embargoed.
Okay.
It's in draft. It doesn't say that now, but I know someone whose name rhymes with sleeve who is asking his union leadership to push for that.
Okay.
We'll just leave it at that, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Because if we wanted to if the date is February 1 and we actually thought we could pull it off, we might have to have a special meeting.
Well, that sounds special.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
FYI.
And if I see anything coming down the road on that, definitive, I'll keep you folks apprised. So that they can talk to the board and figure out a meeting date. But right now, nothing's in there about that. But I think it might be if Sleeve gets his way, which means Sleeve is creating a special meeting for us. Well, it won't be his birthday, so that's okay. All right. All right. Oh my gosh, a motion to adjourn would be terrific at this point.
So moved with notation of, we now have a chair that says things like groovy and gives somebody a noogie. You know, that's new for us.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm a little folksy when I'm in a good mood anyways. So
We are Spreckels. Folksy at Spreckels works perfectly.
that kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Okay. All
Move
right.
to adjourn.
Thank you. And Chris?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
And Michael?
Aye.
Thank you, folks. Again, Happy New Year. Hopefully,
Happy birthday.
2021 is a much marked improvement on 2020, of course. I know it's cliche to say that, but I said it. Have a good night,
Enjoy your
everybody.
cake,
Thank
Steve.
you, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you.